Bookish friends, welcome to my Fall into Reading Challenge wrap-up. This reading challenge is a 3-month reading challenge which happens in the months during the fall, which are September, October and November. Readathon was created by Tia and all the books and co-hosted by her, Rainey at Rainey Day Reads, Kelly at Cozy Reader Kelly, and Angie at Literary Labors, who are all fantastic booktubers. This readathon has a special place in my heart because I was heavily inspired by this challenge when I did my Berna's Bookish Bingo 3 months reading challenges. Thank you to all the co-hosts of this readathon to make me feel inspired to create my own reading challenge, which has been the highlight of my reading year actually. In this readathon, we try to fill 2 bingo cards. The first one has 24 prompts, while the other has 15 prompts. And the prompts are all very general prompts, especially the prompts at 15 prompt card. Which I did, and I finished the prompts in the beginning of November. This video will consist of mainly 2 parts. In the first part, I made a brief clip of all the books that I read for the prompts in the cards and my ratings. In the second part, I will talk about my favorite and my least favorite book that I read for this reading challenge. So let's wrap up the 15 books that I read for Fall into Reading Challenge. My favorite book that I read for this challenge was a science fiction modern classic, Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes, and I read this book for the prompt of a science fiction book. So let's go back to September and see what I said about this book in my wrap-up. The next book that I finished in September was Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. This was the book that I was reading for my real life book club. It tells the story of a mentally disabled person whose IQ is increased with an operation and how his life and his relationships with many people in his life changed after this operation. This book was one of the most powerful books that I have read in 2021. The plot was both emotional and also made me think about a lot of things. And the fact that the book was told in the first person point of view made it much more impactful while reading it. And because the story is told from progress reports, we can clearly see the progression of his increase in IQ and then the following events that happens after he reaches a point of genius. And also the characters and their relationships were very interesting, and you feel so many emotions towards the main character, Charlie. And if it wasn't for a section in a book which was a bit preachy and tried to teach us the point that we were supposed to get from the book. I mean, it didn't have to tell it. It was clearly shown in the story. I don't know why the author decided to include that part. And if it wasn't for that part, I would have given this book a 10 out of 10. But because of that part, I gave this book 9 out of 10. But I strongly advise you to read this book. And I think it was the perfect fit for a book club book, because there are many things to be discussed after reading this book. My least favorite book was the book that I read for graphic novel prompt, The Infinite Loop by Pierrick, Colinet. Once again, let's go back to the month of September and hear what I didn't like about this book. The third book that I finished was a graphic novel. It was called The Infinite Loop. It was written by Pierrick, Colinet, and illustrated by Chastiny G. And I read this for the prompt of time travel in my Berna's Bookish bingo. In this graphic novel, an officer who was assigned to keep time intact and to prevent time anomalies falls in love with a time anomaly. The love story is a sapphic love story, and our couple escapes from the other time guards. Their task is to destroy the time anomalies. When I started reading this graphic novel, I was very intrigued in the first 1/3 of the story, and the drawing style was very beautiful. The drawing style continued to be very beautiful throughout the reading experience. On the other hand, the plot got more and more complex, and although I like complex time travel plots, it was almost impossible to understand what was really happening and in which alternate timeline we were supposed to be in. The most annoying thing was not the complexity, but I felt like I was being hammered in the head with the message of tolerance towards minorities, people with varying gender choices, varying love stories, varying races. This message kept repeating itself in almost every 2 pages, which was really annoying. I think it's a very important social message, and it definitely needs to be stated more and more in literature. But this method was not working, and like I felt annoyance with the writer, some of the readers might feel annoyed with the message. So I think this was a really useless method in terms of giving the very important message. If the drawing style was not as fabulous as it was, I would have given this book an even lower rating. But because of this incredibly beautiful drawing style, I will give this graphic novel a 5 out of 10. So this was my wrap up for Fall Into Reading Challenge, in which I did a blackout of the 15 prompt card. As I mentioned before in the video, this reading challenge is very special to me, and if the co-hosts choose to do it again next year, I really want to join this 3-month readathon. I hope they do. Please comment down below. Did you also do the Fall Into Reading Challenge? I really would like to know which was your favorite book that you read for this challenge. If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, since my least favorite book was titled The Infinite Loop, I thought infinite should be the word of the day. Infinite means sonsuz in Turkish, and sonsuz is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.